Dear Venerable Sisters and Brothers, Dhamma friends, again today too we are going to start the question and answer session. We'll invite Vincent to present the questions, starting from the leftovers of the yesterday, please.
Avasarai Swamin Wahanse. Today, altogether we have 17 questions. Thank you, Bhante. The first question. Thank you, Bhante, for this session. My question is about walking meditation outdoors. Am I being mindful if I feel pain and I feel my feet walking, hips shifting, and at the same time I hear a bird and feel like a breeze and feel happy to be alive in this moment? Am I just being aware, or is this mindfulness? In some talks, my understanding of mindfulness is confused. Is mindfulness being here and now, or is it having insight into one detail like the rising and falling of the breath in the abdomen? It seems the 2 points are used interchangeably. Since this is an insight meditation retreat, should I be trying to not be fully present in the moment, in the world? Like only focus on the touching points in sitting or the feet touching the ground in walking, ignoring the breeze, birds, singing joyful feelings of being alive.
So to make the matter simple, the mindfulness, specifically for the beginners, will select whatever may be the prominent point. And as far as you know that, and when the mindfulness get established, when the mindfulness get seasoned, slowly it will spread into the other not so prominent parts of the scenery also. So therefore, simply as far as you know you are walking, not sitting, as far as you know your signals are coming from the touch of the ground, that's all you have to be happy with. That's fair enough to start with. The continuity of the mindfulness is the answer for the rest of the part. So therefore just get the bare attention and then let that bare attention to be continued as much as possible, and that slowly situation will be more under control.
Next question, dear Bhante, I have 2 questions. 1, how can we achieve consistency in the quality of our meditation? 2, how can we quieten inner speech during sitting meditation? Thank you.
The consistency or continuity, that is the secret for both the questions. So it is first you have to do your own application, a regular timetable. You can do regular sitting and walking, and as far as that is being assured, slowly, just like eating, just like taking a bath, just like going for a sleep, the biological clock will adopt into that, and that will help facilitate the continuity of the mindfulness. So therefore you have to do some sort of sacrification. And towards the second part about the inner chatter, what you have to do is make sure you are getting more and more mindful thought moments in day by day. As far as the mindful thought moments are increasing, correspondingly the inner chatter will be reduced. As far as you are worrying about the inner chatter, I can make sure it will be increased. So the only thing you have to do is be mindful as much as possible. U Pandita Sayadaw from Burma, he used to say, imagine a bottle with a very tiny opening, mouth, and when you are to pour water into that bottle, you can't just pour just like an open mouth bottle. You have to do is 1 drop by 1 drop. Or you have to put a wick and push for water so that along the wick it will go inside. Likewise, in the early part of your mindfulness, you have to very precisely increase the number of thought moments of mindfulness, so much so the defilements will be slowly reducing. Not directly dealing with the defilement, but instead fill it with healthy moments, mindful moments.
The next question, Venerable Bhante. Taking a walk makes me always relaxed and happy. So I don't count a walk as an exercise, but a joyful movement or activity. Naturally, the walking meditation was an easy practice until this Monday, 22nd. Suddenly my legs are like a lead, heavy things to lift, and I feel all the muscles as if I am straining legs, placing tension. I tried out when I am not doing the walking meditation, my legs feel fine. I keep aware of right and left stepping and keep my mind on my breath. What am I doing wrong, Bhante? The walking meditation is not giving me the energy for the sitting meditation, but makes me tired. Thank you.
So that feeling tiredness, feeling the heaviness and the difficult, does that increase your mindfulness? Does that indicate you are here and now, or they make you distract from mindfulness? That's a question you have to ask. So I'm asking now, if the person is happy to give the answer, it will be helpful for the discussion.
It's like a distraction.
So that means that when your mind becomes here and now, and it is showing the friction, the burning nature of the walking, it becomes distraction. But when you are walking without much of mindfulness and relaxing, you consider this as good. So please put it in other way. Whenever you are mindful, you feel these signals very amplified way, but try to keep it with thinking this is the way mindfulness sets in. Whenever the mindfulness sets in, things will become very immediate, very vigilant and very appealing. So therefore with that, when you are continuing, so after a while of course they will be disappearing, but at the beginning it is the way it is happening. So little bit of irritation is a good sign to indicate mindfulness is intact.
Next one, Venerable Bhante, while I was doing walking meditation, my legs got so tired that I needed to sit down. When I closed my eyes, I felt the pumping of heart and hear the heart beat throughout my body and between my ears, or as if I had a loudspeaker in my ear. And sitting in the center of heart, feeling the heart beat, I felt that I was the heart. Somehow I felt it was a familiar feeling and sound. I think this is the second time it happened. Thank you, Bhante.
Well, let it happen again and again. And that is a way to verify that mindfulness it sets in. So your inner feelings, your sensitivity to the inside will be increasing rather than outwardly. So when and where mind becomes inside, these things appear like a little bit amplified. So take it as a good positive sign to understand mindful or verify mindfulness and facilitate it. Then slowly you will be accustomed to. Otherwise they appear like a fearful thing. They are the most intrinsic thing, most personal thing in our life. So we do escapism by extrovert thing, but mindfulness brings the situation at home. So you have to familiarize it. Don't promote it, but whenever it is happening, don't try to escape, just familiarize it.
The next question, Venerable Bhante, thank you for your illuminating analysis of the neither pleasure nor painful feeling Thursday. You described that the Noble Eightfold Path is contained within this area. In the late Venerable Jnanaponika Maha Thero's booklet, Contemplation of Feeling, he says that the neither pleasure nor painful feeling is rooted in delusion. I am sure you are both saying the same thing, but to a beginner such as myself, the two explanations seem contradictory. Please clarify this for me. Thank you.
So that uninstructed person and person who has not familiarity to the neither pain, no pleasure kind of feeling, always you try to avoid. Always you try to escape it because of your ignorance. But after listening to Venerable Maha Sariputta, or after listening to Venerable Sister Dhammajiva, or to Venerable Jnanaponika, you go prepared, and once you familiarize now neither pain nor pleasure kind of feeling, you see how much in your life you try to evade it, or escape it, because it is kind of a boredom. It's lethargic. It is, you become outcasted like. But it is a completely opposite of tanha, opposite of the desire, opposite of the bondage to the samsara. So now we have come to the answer, but only the matter that your attitude is negative for that. So that has to be changed. You have to go prepared, then it will become a pathway. Then it will become a doorway opening to the Noble Eightfold Path. That is because of a penetration, scrutinization. That is because of your knowledge and that's your preparedness. So therefore, uninstructed person consider through ignorance. The instructed person go into it and see. When you look at it and when you try to facilitate it, it's a door opening, like that transition is what we call from the ayoniso manasikara to yoniso manasikara. That means unwise reflection to the wise reflection. So this change is what we expect in a retreat like this. So therefore, the appear like contradictory to the beginner, but when you advance it, they are complementary each other.
Dear Bhante, is sympathetic joy to be considered part of pleasant feelings, or is it a category in itself? How do they differ from each other? Are they interdependent? Can one experience joy without pleasure?
So these things are within the atmosphere of feeling. So the sympathetic joy we call as mudita, also considered as a positive side, and without affection, if you can have that sympathetic joy, that you are merely be glad due to others' achievement. So that's the opposite side of the envious feeling, jealous feeling. So therefore, whatever the achievement the other beings are going to have, you also share it with it, as if you are a family member. So therefore, sympathetic joy comes within the feelings, but it's a specific kind, it's a specific nature. So that can happen without the affection part, without the commitment that can happen. Then you naturally become a happy person on the earth, because there are a lot of things happening, positive, and people achieve something, but we have not trained our sympathetic joy, and sometimes our jealous kind of feeling is blocking it. So when you are practicing more and more the choiceless awareness and the evenly suspended attention, you also can share with them. So therefore it's always something to be promoted.
Next question. Thank you, Bhante, for the great answers to our questions. What did you mean that emptiness is compassion? Can you describe emptiness? Thank you.
For the first time, one day Venerable Dhammika, the Sravasti Dhammika, he was talking with me. I am a lay person, very young. And he told one day, Chiddu Krishnamurti came to Sri Lanka as a royal guest. And he was living in the royal guest house. And when the Dhammika was not an invited guest, but he, out of inquisitive mind, he wanted to go there. But the security guard stopped him, telling that it is only for the VIPs. Then he went to the door, not the inside, outdoor, and start walking backward. And then the guard is looking at him, Bhante, what are you doing? No, I am not going. I am going backward from the outdoor. Then he says, you are putting me in trouble, Bhante. I know you are so serious to go in. Please go in, but don't disturb, don't put me in trouble. So when you go there, he told that about 10-15 people, talking openly with the Krishnamurti. And he was just listening. And then Krishnamurti used to say, empty mind is the compassionate mind. So Venerable Dhammika was confused. He says, he raised the hand and told, how come that empty mind become the compassionate? Then he smiled in such a beautiful way. The empty mind only can do compassionate work. He related the situation to me, but I also was not much convinced about that answer. He himself was not. But if you go into the Metta Sahagata Sutta, in the Samyutta Nikaya, he says, when someone is telling, I have compassion to some kind of a person, but still I am moved by his suffering, Venerable Sariputta says that is contradictory. If you are moved, if you are affected by someone's suffering, that is not the compassion. Compassion happens only with the blank mind. It's a kind of a instinct happening. So therefore, when and where you become mindful, choicelessly, when you become evenly suspended attention to everything, the compassion, it is radiating. Not to the particular person, but that is it happen. So therefore, as far as you have a feeling, as far as you have a affection, as far as you are moved by someone's suffering, and still if you are working on it, you may call it as compassion, but that is not the pure form. Compassion is naturally blooming thing out of this empty mind. I can't remember a particular word is there in the Metta Sahagata Sutta. You are not affected by someone's suffering. You are not moved, and then only the compassion can happen. So it is hard to difficult, but if you really serious, please go into that Metta Sahagata Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya. Sometimes it's been named as Metta Sutta also, and it is going very deep into this subject. And then only I related that Krishnamurti's answer and Venerable Sariputta's quotation from the Buddha, and therefore you have to ask yogis to develop the empty mind, mindful mind, not a partial mind, not a affected mind. Just be mindful about things as it is, then it is the compassion is happening. So that is how the meditation is not blamed as something private and personal. Whenever you do meditation, you are radiating good vibrations, whether you like it or not. But it is happening in the pure form only when the mind becomes completely and utterly empty.
Dear Bhante, thank you again for answering our questions. 1. When a sound is heard, there is a ripple in the mind. Is progress when a sound is heard, but the ripple ceases to appear? 2. Movement of the legs and feet requires the volition in the mind. I feel my brain's neurons firing to complete this task, but is focusing on their ticking-like sensation the correct way forward? Thank you.
To the second part of the question, when you do walking meditation, for example, maybe we are on the 3rd day or 4th day, and we are familiar with this Chuanyan monastery, and we are familiar with this our path. Under such circumstances, when you are walking, after a while, you develop kind of a walking effortlessly. Because it's a familiar place, and you have done walking about 10-20 minutes, and then when the effortlessly walking happens, of course the volition is there, the intention is there, but when it is something happening, at that moment you can see yourself as if an outsider, your walking mood. So that is the point where you get a distance from the walking, and still robot-like, your body knowledge is moving yourself, and you can see how when I am walking as it is. So this is the kind of a place, point, where as if that when you are doing sitting meditation and in and out breathing, the breath ceases to exist. But still mindfulness is intact, and you can let everything happen. So walking also can happen. So under such circumstances, you are not directing or you are not adverting directly to your soul or left leg or right leg or noting as left and right, but everything happen like a unit. Everything is walking. Some people, when they explain it, they say, as if I am pedaling a push bike, I can see everything happening. You can separate it from the left leg, the right leg. You can separate it, lifting, moving, dropping light, everything in the cyclic pattern it is happening. So this is the way, the effortless way it is happening. In the early part, in the sounds also, naturally whenever external stimuli come, our body knowledge has its own method, its own action as well as reaction, but leave it for the body knowledge, don't go for analysis, and just observe it and let it happen. Then it will disappear without a trace. So that means you are not adding any intuitive knowledge, let the body knowledge to work, body knowledge to do the task. And then you see the body is it evolved in such a way that everything, the body knows what to do. Unless otherwise you are not crossing with your novelty ideas and craftsmanship and all the kind of thing. Let the body to do, and that is the way you be compassionate to your body. The mind and body come in harmony, and everything happen very in a smooth way. There may be some jerks, and then it flat off. Again some spikes, and then flat off like. So you can learn the jerks versus silence, and they are happening in a cyclic pattern. And you have nothing to worry, nothing to get committed into. Get a distance. Look and look at it. Don't claim this is me. Don't claim this is mine. Don't claim this as myself. You are just a neutral observer becomes.
Dear Bhante, regarding immaterial object and the nothingness, when the end of breath or feeling disappears, the terminology is same as the terminology used in jhana meditation. Are they related?
Yeah, this experience you can explain in terms of jhanic experiences through samatha, concentration meditation, and you can do in the vipassana terminology also. If you read Venerable Sayadaw, Pandita Sayadaw's book, In This Very Life, there's one chapter called Vipassana Jhana. For the first time he compared with the terminology you find in the classic canonical books, what are the characteristics of the jhanic experience, jhana factors, and how the same thing happen in a functional way, on a pragmatic way, in the vipassana way. So ultimately you find they are not stratified, not gradation like samatha, but the same thing happened. So at the beginning it appears like contradictory. When you go further and further, it's complementary, they are very parallel each other. So for that you have to have long, repetitive, long time practice, and then only you can see. At the beginning they appear like two separate ways, but both of them are coming and joining at the pinnacle.
Bhante, thank you for your insightful talks. If I understand what you are saying correctly, the true knowledge of neither pleasure nor pain state is equivalent to understanding dukkha. Would you agree with that, or am I missing something?
Yeah, it is fairly okay, because that is when and where you accept the pain and pleasure, gain and the lost, ill fame and the tarnishing, so the fame and the ill fame. So equipoise mind is the point where you are to understand the world as it is. Otherwise you are biased, otherwise you are partial. So first and foremost you must have the unwavering mind to the 8 vicissitudes of the world. The pain and pleasure is also one couplet.
Thank you in advance for the answer. My question is about tiredness. As I focus on observing the body sensation, with occasionally the mind drifting away to other thoughts, I find myself both mentally and physically tired after every day's practice. If meditation is helping the mind to take a rest, I am a bit confused over the tired feeling I am having. Please instruct if there is any advice. Thank you.
So when you feel tired, do you feel that tired feeling as me, mine, or myself? If it is so, it appears negative. And if you understand this yet another mind state, sometimes very alert, very intelligent and vigilant, and sometimes tired. So how can be only vigilance and diligence without tiredness? How can there be only tiredness without vigilance and diligence? They are reciprocal each other. So if you only expect diligent, vigilant and kind of thing, as if you are expecting only the daytime in the day without a night. That cannot happen. So therefore they are interdependent. So you must have, whenever the tiredness happens, see it as an object. With the framework, it is not me, it is not mine, it is not myself. Because it is not an intentional thing, it is not a volitional thing, it is something visitor-like. So look at it, the beginning, the middle and the end of the tired nature. End of the tired nature will be a very vigilant thought moment.
Dear Bhante, 1. When meditation, what is the best way to combat the 5 hindrances from arising in the mind? 2. In the outside world, outside meditation, how can we actively combat the 5 hindrances? For instance, when I am at work, how can one combat restlessness and worry?
So if you remove the meditation, the term meditation and replace it with mindfulness, the question will be completely different in the nature. Each and every thought moment you are mindful, you are already won the game. There won't be any kind of hindrances. So if you have not yet introduced mindfulness, then these questions are valid. As far as you know what does it mean by mindfulness, it's a matter of verification. How long will it take me to verify my mind is mindful, no hindrances? That's a remarkable breakthrough in the meditative life. So handling it, Mahasi Sayadaw, he says, in the very first thought moment when you become mindful and you have not enough background information or memory to verify that I am mindful. He says second, third, fourth, like after the third or fourth thought moment only, if you are very sharp, if you are fully theoretical well-versed, then you can understand, now I am mindful. As far as I know, I am mindful, there is no hindrances like. So this is the way to verify. So the question is pertaining to the verification of the same. So therefore, not only to be mindful, but the verification of the same is the only point where you are going to reap the harvest. Otherwise, you may be mindful, but you don't know. You have not verified. Under such circumstances, you are entertained doubts. You don't have enough faith, or your faith is not well rooted. So it's also part and parcel of the practice. So the confidence, or the faith, or the lack of doubt, you must have certain amount of theoretical understanding. You must have certain amount of deductive knowledges. Then and there you can be happy, gain the result of the mindfulness. So therefore, not only by meditation, you must have the early two kinds of knowledges, theoretical knowledge and the deductive knowledge. And for them, the verification is easy compared with other people. And once you verify it, immediately, without a time gap, you feel glad. That is akalika, which is beyond time. So therefore, this pertaining to the verification, continue it. One day, you will come across that and see how confidence, then onward, how much confidence you develop upon your practice. Till that, this meditation, mindfulness, concentration, verification, they are not till fixed state. So let it mature, and then they will for your advantage in time to come.
Venerable Bhante, thank you for your time and patience. Yesterday you talked about secular mindfulness, which will hopefully eventually make the world a better place. From a Buddhist perspective, though, let me put it in an analogy. Is mindfulness like a feeder road which feeds into the highway of concentration, which has as its destination liberation? Or is mindfulness parallel to concentration? Is the Buddhist goal of mindfulness concentration, which then leads to liberation? Please clarify. Thank you.
No, the analogy is not helpful for your first statement to see the worldly mindfulness and the religious kind of mindfulness. The secular mindfulness, for my understanding, is for healing and cure. But the religious involved mindfulness is for prevention. Prevention is better than cure. The American Buddhism is business Buddhism. That's go totally secular, because they are full of questions and they want to have cure and healing. So mindfulness came. Not bad, because mindfulness won't give any side effects, no after effects. So therefore it will go. One day you have to restrain yourself on the preventive way, not to have question in the first place. Then you see mindfulness is much, much advanced. So that's the point, it becomes religious and philosophical. So the latter part of your analogy is comparing again two more subjects about the mindfulness and the concentration. So therefore, to express about further, the mindfulness is the proximate factor for the concentration. Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. In the last three aspects of the Noble Eightfold Path, and in the Indriya Dhamma also, Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Sati, mindfulness, is leading to concentration. That's the sustenance, undisturbed, continuity, steadfast mindfulness is the proximate cause for the concentration.
Bhante, could you comment on mindful on mindfulness? 2, if I am very focused on something, then things around it disappear. Color, shape, outline. The focusing point also became illusory. Thank you.
So if you put a drop of blood into a slide and put under a microscope, you don't see blood like that. You may see particles here and there. But if you increase the amplification, you see the notion of blood disappears. Some particles you may see. Imagine when you focus the same thing with the electron microscope, you will never discern it's as a liquid or blood or anything. You can see only particles. No margin, no labeling, no perception can fix it. So more and more close observation, more and more immediate observation, your boundaries are dissolving. Your labeling becomes impossible. So that is why when you are looking at the distance, when you become agglomerated, you can develop permanent notion. You can attribute to a label. You can see its continuity. But you break into tiny, tiny, tiny particles. These particles are the same in hydrogen, helium, copper, whatever may be. Particles are the particles. But we agglomerated and come into a proper configuration, then we call this is helium, this is hydrogen, this is blah, blah, blah. So therefore, agglomeration makes the storytelling. When you reduce it to, your whole boundaries disappear. So that is the dangerous point. So after a certain amount of concentration, after a certain amount of mindfulness, it appears like threatening your identity, your self-centered thinking. Your egocentric calculation disappears. So that's the point where the faith come into being. It's the point where the morality come into being. It's the point where the steadfast mindfulness become very meaningful. So therefore, this is between the Newtonian physics and Einstein physics. Einstein physics is equal to mc square. You can see the relationship between the E and M. E can become M and M can become E. Mass become energy, energy can become mass. When it becomes energy, no time, no local, no specific gravity, no locality. It is non-local. Whenever it's collapsed into particle, it gets into the specific gravity and a place. So this change happened in the physics. So if you read the Tao Physics by Fritjof Capra, I think it is now more than 20 years old, it is dealing partly about this subject. And it is not a religious, but he challenged all the physicists as the religious masters. Please, if you have any comments, come out with this is what I see. So if you have any, if you need any furtherance, I think Capra book is a good answer. But mindfulness is still better. It's more efficient than Fritjof Capra.
Dear Bhante, this is regarding the same question that I asked yesterday. I cannot get rid of my laptop as I am a computational research student, but I have alternatives for that. However, here my question is, while doing walking meditation, I have to tilt my head down, which causes to get the neck pain back. Could you please provide a suggestion to walking meditation for a person like me? Can I reduce the time for walking meditation? Thank you so much, Bhante.
The walking meditation, it says you must have downcast eye, that if you are, for example, 5.5 feet tall, you have to look 5.5 feet in front, so that 45 degrees can happen. And even then, the bending forward, just to see your legs, like very close, then it is causing neck pain. And if you look at directly front, that's also too much. You have to go in between, and the pain itself will be a guideline for you. Change the tilt, change the angle, so that you feel relief of the pain, and it is also going to have, you have to do for a longer time. Then only the counterbalancing to the laptop attachment can be happen. So therefore, it is not advisable to reduce time for walking meditation. Do the regular time of walking meditation, but it is adjusting the tilt of your head it says it must be downcast, and take your pain itself as a guideline, and use the body knowledge to alleviate the pain and maintain that angle for longer time.
Bhante, I was mentally attached to someone and that person betrayed me. Took more than half of my life for betrayal. It is a defeat. I am in a shock. I cannot cry because I am beyond from that point. It is a complete shock. How do I defeat my defeatful feelings? Should I forgive? It may fade away, but it is not easy. It is a mental attraction. I am shocked because I cannot believe that person could do it for me. Can meditation be helpful, or will it mess up my mentality? Please help me. I need spiritual support.
So in the Dhammapada, the Buddha mentioned, Tanhaya jayati soko, tanhaya jayati bayam, tanhaya vipavuttase, nati soko kuto bayam, pemato jayati soko, pemato jayati bayam. Whatever the fear, whatever the betrayal, coming to us through desire. So it is not a person, your desire, your attachment is the source of betrayal. Even if you do away with that particular person or that particular object, as far as the desire is concerned, it's a source of fear. So when you are in such a betrayal, such a distraction, if you are sharp enough, it's a very vivid object for you to look at this betrayed mind and see, always you try to attribute to another person. That means you are working with the self principle. You think the other person is the one created it. You never see the my attachment. You are calculating it is coming from outside and hitting me. No, it is, in reality, it is projecting inside and going out. The other person is just an innocent victim of their desire. So this is the radical kind of a reflection. Then you feel confident. I am the root cause of my problem. Or I am the omnipotent, omnipresent creator of this betrayal. So you are omnipotent. You are omnipresent. Take that stand and be mindful about not only the posture, but when and where you feel that disappointment happens. Of course it is for me to tell easy, because I have never made any love with other people, that's why I became a monk. Otherwise I would have also in the same boat. But the theory is that your desire, tanhaya jayati soko, tanhaya means this attachment, the desire, it creates fear, uncertainty, soka means sorrow. So if you look at that point of, not a single person in this audience is escaped from that. So you make yourself specific, you make yourself extraordinary. That is because you love betrayal. You love the stress. The mindfulness is the universal answer, one and the only way. Take refuge of mindfulness, and slowly, this can happen, but your approach, your attitude must be radically radical reflection to this subject.
The last question, last written question, this is information about a book. What was the name of the book that discussed how easily a meditator's mind can go back home and its significance in daily life? Mr. Cohen, Limitless Mind?
I mentioned number of books, but I can't really, by reading that I can't get sharpened into the subject, but maybe the power of mindfulness.
She says, no, I asked her, it is not the one.
For my memory, I mentioned about the Mark Epstein, going to pieces without falling apart, thought without a thinker, and that kind of thing are...
Blink.
The other one, these three books I remember. Today I mentioned about this Fridge of Kapra's book. Don't think that I am promoting reading books. But this is the way sometimes they help me. So when necessary, I sometimes read these authors frequently. So we are efficient that we have already finished all the written questions. We have about 10 or more minutes for the discussion.
I just have a very basic question, and it is about the meditation retreat. The name is the Foundation of Mindfulness. So I would like to know if it was named because there are 4 foundations, and if it is so, which are they, please?
The first one is called that you are taking your body or corporeality or physical body as the one base, one benchmark, one reference point or foundation. The second thing is feelings you have, pain, pleasure, or no pain, no pleasure, neither pain nor pleasure kind of. The third one is mental aspects, that the coloration of the mind, the desire, the hate, the sleepiness, the slimy mind, active mind, that kind of thing. The third one is rest of the all, that means when you are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, like what is happening actually behind the screen. So these are the 4 foundations, and they are presented in a gradual basis. Start with this simple thing, the material part, the corporeal part, the concrete part, and once that is developed, it is naturally leading to feelings, and then it is going to the mind aspect and the other phenomena, seeing, hearing kind of thing. So it is very famous in the canon. It appears in 2 places, in the middle-length sayings as well as the long discourses, known as Satipatthana. So you have to read it or get the theoretical understanding and put into practice. That is what we are doing here. When and where you are in the, whatever may be the posture, whether you are sitting, standing, walking or lie down, these are the 4 cardinal postures. How much you are here and now, how much you aware while you are sitting. Not daydreaming, not past, future, sitting posture. Like try to be related with the present moment and the present body posture. That's the starting point for the Kayanupassana, the contemplation on the body.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Bhante, thank you for your generous teachings and clarifications. My question has to do with the contemplation on the bodily parts. You know, in the Satipatthana, the Buddha says that we ought to contemplate on the body fluids and body parts and body in order to really have an understanding of the materiality. At what point is advisable for a meditator to start engaging in that sort of very deep focus type of contemplation?
No, when you have to read carefully about these 4 foundations of mindfulness, the body you can use in 14 ways. First thing, just as I mentioned about the 4 postures and the posture junctions from standing to sitting, sitting to walking, that's also possible, and the breath also possible, or hardness, stiffness, tension, movements like elements, and the 32 parts also possible. But it is not compulsory for each and every person. When you keep on practicing, the mindfulness grows or diversify according to your personality traits. Some people about to see their body parts, It is natural happening. If it is so, you take it as a path. But it is not a compulsory for each and every person to go. So therefore, there's no particular episode that you always must do like. So whatever the way it is in the, to answer the question, commentary to the Visuddhimagga, the path of purification says, Yata pakatang vipassana abhiniveso pacca anupahattante nevi payano pattapetta sammasitabba. Whatever may be the prominent thing must be your access. Don't worry about the unprominent things. Once the mind becomes clear, with respect to the prominent part, other thing either you can deduce inferentially, or with as time permits you can go there. But as far as you can follow the track of the prominence, you are better off.
So there is no set pattern. It comes spontaneously.
Yeah, if you are bound with, if your personality is related with that, it will come to you, but not necessarily to your friend.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. When you see the word empty, and then my pain suddenly gone. But after a few minutes, no, a few seconds, it bonding again. And then I observe their bonding. So is there any way I could permanently break down to the end? Break down again.
Permanently be in emptiness?
No. The pain between the pain.
Yeah.
When you say empty, I could go on, and then it comes
definitely again. After the death. Sure. And so it is also a sure and short for you. Life means a pain. It's utter suffering. Buddha says the world rests on the pain.
Did I need to keep constantly say
no,
empty?
Be familiarized, familiar with the pain, just like food, just like sleeping, just like everything. The pain is part and part. Otherwise, the irony or the sarcastic thing is, when you become paralyzed, part of your body won't feel anything. Then you will cry. That part is sick. So you go to the doctor and says, please make that part painful. You see how we are happy with pain, irritation, frustration, suffering. Human beings are crazy. If there is no pain in one part, finished. And leprosy, you one nerve going to work, no. Leprosy, the disease, that's also something like paralysis, not a stroke. One nerve, the nerve going to the eye will not be working, so it is kept open all the time and then finished. Then you feel so sorry. With no feeling, no pain. And the another sarcastic thing is, if you have a stillbirth of a child, not crying, then mother is crying. If the childbirth is natural and baby going to cry, mother is happy. The doctor is happy because it's a normal child. Be careful about the pain, don't do something wrong. You always have a relationship with, that is what you call the life.
Okay, thank you.
Bhante, I have a question like pain, but headache. So like when I'm just a newbie of meditation, so it just happened since today. So when I meditate today, I saw something like very blank in my brain. It's like endless dimension in my brain. And then, but I feel there is an invisible wall in my brain. And then I try to break through the wall, even though it's invisible. But when I really focus on doing that, to breaking the wall, my headache just come here in my forehead. And then I try to thinking about classical music because I played the classical music as a kid. And then the headache gone. is it a good thing that I should enjoy the pain, enjoy the headache, try to break through that invisible wall in my mind, or should I try playing classical music in my brain?
It must be a mixture of that, because if you are going to directly only with the pain, it will be sometimes self-torturing. So whenever the mind is energized, you can go into the pain and do it, as far as it is not going to give an unbearable thing. So therefore, don't do it in a fanatic way. Do it in a strategic way. Strategic way, when and where possible, when and where it is gainful, you can go into the pain and dwell upon the pain, but not continuously. So I would be happy if the Bhikkhu Bodhi was here, because he is a classical example for headaches.
He played the jazz music.
Whatever may be, you have to change the tactics. Not exactly. And the happy thing is, you must be happy that you have a brain. I mean, otherwise, no headache. If you are empty completely, inside, no problem.
So, and then the invisible wall is okay to have an invisible wall?
So that is your mind made, your brainchild, your hallucination. You are a sick mind, that sick mind makes so much of hallucination. So once the mind becomes healthy, it may come out with yet another way. And the day really you see it, it may be still different thing.
Thank you very much.
Dear Bhante, so my question is, do you believe in the law of attraction, and do you think you can meditate things into being? An example is I had a jacket stolen from my job a few months ago, and I was really mad about it, so I said I'm going to wish this jacket back to me. So I meditated, I'm going to have this jacket back, the jacket is going to come back to me, and then I looked on eBay to see if, maybe the person who stole it was going to sell it. And then a month later, I was looking on eBay and I saw my jacket there. It's the very, very same jacket, because the seller refused to do a local pickup because they were afraid that that they would discover that it was stolen. And do you think it's possible? Do you think that the law of attraction, you can meditate your wishes into being?
No, you can't deny it. But the meditation, the highest, the aim is not that. But in the lower level, that kind of thing happens, but it is not predictable, it is not 100% sure. So they are somewhat mystic, somewhat scientific. Not predictable in the sense. It may or may not be. So whatever, whether you lost or not, the meditation is good.
Okay, thank you.
It's a time up. So now onward we will take time for 1 hour of walking meditation and meet together again at 4 o'clock. Thank you very much for the participation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.